Good afternoon and welcome back to Girded with Truth. Thank you so very much for joining us today as we continue our series, God Did It. Today we're talking from the perspective, it is enough. A lot of times when we go through life, we keep thinking about our needs and our wants. We need this, we need that. We want this, we want that. We cannot get to where we want to go unless we have this amount of money, unless we have this amount of success, unless we know this amount of people. We have to have this amount of likes, subscribes, all these different things, especially in this technology generation. Now, when we are with God, when we are in that place with God, we definitely begin to see that I am enough. But when we look at the things we need to accomplish this vision that God has given to us, we think that we don't have enough things, we don't have enough resources, we don't have enough. But God is saying to us today that it is enough. Wherever you are in life, whatever God is requiring of you in your next, in this step, in this level of your destiny, I'm here to tell you, it is enough. You have enough. God has given you everything that you need. And if you need more, He will give that to you also. 1 Kings chapter 17 verses 11 to 16 says, "And as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, 'Bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand.' And she said, 'As the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but an handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die.' And Elijah said unto her, 'Fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me thereof a little cake first, and bring it unto me, and after make for thee and for thy son. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth.' And she went and did according unto the saying of Elijah. And she and he and her house did eat many days. And the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Elijah." So here this woman and her son is about to eat their last meal, because that is all they have. But Elijah shows up out of nowhere and asks for cake. First, he started off by asking for bread. Then the lady says, "Okay, I don't have enough. I'm just going to eat this and die, me and my son here alone. And this is the last of the last of the last." And Elijah shows up and he's saying, "Well, here what? See, not only going to die anyway. Just make a cake for me and then make for you and your son." So the woman proceeds to make a bread for Elijah, and it was enough. Everything she had in her house was enough. She just needed the breath of God to breathe on what she had. So she is witnessing a move of God. She is witnessing the fact that God did it. She is witnessing the fact that whatever she had was enough. So Elijah comes as a servant of God, as a man of God, and changes her entire situation. And so too, God has set up things in time to be able to impact our lives so that we will live and not die. So this woman who was about to face death because she was about to eat her last meal and die, God shows up just in time to be able to do it. God shows up just in time to tell her it is enough. Whatever she had was enough. And I'm here to tell you today, whatever you have is enough. Once God is ready to work in your life, once you have positioned yourself to hear from God, to receive of God, then He's going to do it. And whatever you have, whatever little seems insignificant, becomes enough in the eyes of God. Becomes enough with the breath of God. Becomes enough to not just sustain you, but to carry you beyond where you presently are. The Israelites would have faced this when they had their first encounter with the God that they heard about but had not seen. Exodus chapter 14 verses 13 to 16 says, "And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you this day. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And the Lord said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. But lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thine hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea." So God is telling Moses here, I already gave you instructions. What you crying out to me for? Just use what you have, and I will do it. All Moses had to do was show up. All he had to do was believe in God, obey God, and God was ready to not just deliver him, but deliver all of the Israelites. Now this is God really showing himself, revealing himself to the Israelites, so that they will no longer serve a God because their fathers served that same God, but they would actually have a relationship with him because they have been through something together. God could have taken them through another route, but he decided that he would work a miracle for them so that they would be grateful, so that they can form a partnership together like no other. There's no partnership like one forged from trouble, one forged from being through adversities together, from facing adversaries together. That becomes an unbreakable bond that no one can contest. And God is trying to form and forge that relationship with us so that we will be his people and he will be our God. And we have to say that God did it. So what Moses had in his hand, this rod, this ability to go forward, this obedience to Christ, it was enough. And today I'm here to tell you, whatever you have is enough, and there will be a praise report beyond where you are. Don't think that you are just going through the motions, going through events after events, struggles after struggles, tribulations after tribulations with no end result. God is here to tell you today, through me, that he is ready to do it. Exodus chapter 14 verses 30 and 31 says, "Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians, and the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses." So here God is really beginning to show himself strong in the life of the Israelites, and their enemies were dead. They would not contend with them anymore, and God delivered his people. And they began to show God the respect he deserves and began to believe on God for who he is. Not just the God they heard about, but the God that they could clearly see has done this miracle for them. So all these accounts we have been going through, Elijah, Moses, we even hear a lot about Abraham and even David. But these are not just stories. These are real life events that people went through with God and came out on the other side, came out victorious, came out with a testimony that their God was fighting for them, came out with a life story that God did it. And whatever he had given to them, whatever he had allowed them to have, it was enough. Abraham had faith and a word from God. Moses had a promise a relationship with God and obedience towards Him. Elijah had a word from God, an utterance from God through his own mouth, a relationship with God, and he was able to bring sustenance to a widow and to himself at the same time. David had a drive to see his people delivered and set free, and he had a knowing due to his relationship with God. All these men had something that connected them to God, that gave them a promise, that brought them to this place where they can believe God and they can see the goodness of the Lord work in their own lives. And so too, each and every one of us has that same promise from God. It may show up in a different way. There might be a different method, but each of us has a promise from God, a belief in God, and the drive to go into our destiny. So God is saying today that He is going to do it, and whatever you have, it is enough. You are enough, and it is enough. Stand still, see the salvation of the Lord, and know that God is going to do it. He's not just going to do it, but He's going to do it for you. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye.